Hello, my name is Julie Laydell, and I'd love to give you a window into my world as a Roycroft artisan. I'll talk about my journey to find art as a full-time career, and I'll talk about my many points of inspiration and self-discovery along the way. I am a Roycroft Renaissance artisan, and my artwork is inspired by the arts and crafts movement, which started in England in the 1880s and traveled through most of Europe and America until about 1920. Dozens of men and women followed their passion to make the world around them more beautiful through their creation of fine and decorative art. The Roycroft was established in 1895 by Albert Hubbard in East Aurora, New York. He created an arts and crafts community of woodworkers, metalsmiths, and artists that put the ideals of William Morris and John Ruskin in the foreground of their purpose, to create using the head, the heart, and the hand. Today, dozens of artists in over 10 different disciplines aim high and work hard to be accepted as a Roycroft Renaissance artisan. Every year, each artist's work is examined through a jury process by the Roycroft Master Artisans, and their work must exemplify high quality in craftsmanship, excellence in design, continuous artistic growth, originality of expression, and professional recognition in their medium for the right to use the Roycroft Renaissance mark. I was accepted as a Roycroft Renaissance artisan in 2016, and I'm so humbled and honored to be part of this modern-day guild of amazing artists. We come from all over America, and many of us gather a few times a year where our friendships strengthen and we can challenge each other to push our craft further through inspiration, craftsmanship, and creativity. As a revivalist artist, I draw inspiration from this era, and I evoke a feeling of yesteryear in my work. I also fell in love with many of the national and international travel posters from the 1930s and 40s. Of note, I especially love the national parks posters advertising adventure all over America. I graduated high school in 1993, and I was artistic to some degree throughout my growing up. I was known to doodle as a hostess in high school and college, and much of my early work was vivid, albeit without much focus. I was moonlighting as an artist in those early years, painting commission artwork for close friends and family. I'd paint animals, landscapes, flowers, still life, and people mostly, without a real sense of who I was as an artist. But everything changed in 2004 when, almost by accident, my husband Brian and I stumbled upon the arts and crafts movement through our home remodel in Denver, Colorado. We turned our 1950s home into a much larger bungalow, and there was the spark. We started buying book after book about the movement, each time falling deeper in love with the home furnishings and architecture. I finally told myself 2 years later that I should paint with this style and philosophy in mind for my inspiration. I was a graphic designer from 1998 to 2013, and I worked in the e-learning industry, creating graphics, illustrations, logos, and user interfaces for Fortune 500 companies. I was also the photographer for dozens of training courses for the United States Air Force, and I got to sit in the cockpit of many aircraft, including the B-2 stealth bomber, travel through the forest with wildland firefighters, and duck flying shrapnel during an explosive ordnance shoot. My love of line, shape, and typography was strengthened in these years and followed me into my fine art career. From 2009 to 2012, I kept working while having my 2 children. After the birth of my daughter in 2009, I knew I wanted to not just work, but to thrive. I wanted to teach my kids that going after your dream is a worthy endeavor. How could I do that effectively if I wasn't living that truth for myself? So, the journey began to be my own example. I made art a bigger part of my life as a young mother, balancing family, job, and hobby. I started to put myself and my art out there in 2010. I traveled all the way to San Francisco, California for my first art show, which of course had to be among arts and crafts enthusiasts. It didn't go well. I sold exactly nothing, but I picked myself up, and on the drive home, I had idea after idea on how I could improve and expand. I never once thought of quitting. Every show moving forward had to be better than a 0. Then I took on the Colorado Fine Arts Festivals, a few more each year, steadily expanding, and my career grew. By 2013, I was ready to quit my graphic design job and strike out on my own. I owe my husband Brian so much for believing in me in ways I still am in awe of. His love and support is paramount, and I'm a lucky lady. My artwork today really falls into two categories, my Colorado series and my arts and crafts series. Both styles fill me up, and I was very conscious about keeping both alive and strong. I feel balanced going between the two styles with equity. My arts and crafts series is mostly painted with acrylic on panel. In this series, I have over 55 paintings that are all inspired by textures and mediums of the arts and crafts movement. Art pottery and ceramic tile, from Newcomb to Rookwood and Groovy to Marblehead. Stained glass doors and windows, from Green and Green to Tiffany and Frank Lloyd Wright. Quarter-sawn oak furniture and inlay, from Gustav Stickley and Harvey Ellis. Hand-hammered copper and oil-rubbed bronze. Pewter, silver, and enamel jewelry and clocks, notably by Archibald Knox. Artistically tooled leather purses and handbags. Bookbinding, printing press, and graphic layout by Dard Hunter and the Roycrofters. English painted fresco, stencil, and interior design by M.H. Bailey Scott. Motto and motif by William Morris, John Ruskin, and Charles Rennie Mackintosh. Art Nouveau, flora and birds. My Arts and Crafts series has many inspirational quotes from artists and influencers from the era, but I also express my own words in a visual journal through my artwork. All of my personal mantras are listed with an asterisk next to the title on my website. My artwork is about finding deeper meaning and connection, not only to others, but to ourselves as well. I find researching my next painting works as a form of meditation for me. I write my feelings and my goals, almost as a song lyric to accompany the art. I create art around mottos that I know I need to remind myself of on a regular basis, like a whisper from my soul to my heart. My Arts and Crafts series is about discovery through history, the inner self, and decorative and fine art. My Colorado series is about breathing in inspiration from the earth, specifically the Rocky Mountains. I live in Evergreen, Colorado, at almost 8,000 feet above sea level. I'm happily tucked into my 2 quiet acres of Mother Nature. Up here, the air is crisp. The elk and the deer live alongside me daily and act as my co-workers just on the other side of my studio window. The wind carries the smell of pine and birdsong, and my heart is carried to a place of memory with each new location I paint. I have over 82 paintings in my Colorado series. I use gouache on an illustration board for this series because I love the matte finish and the woodblock print look and feel it provides for my art. I mostly work from photos that I take, and sometimes my art is based on a single photo at the foundation. I research the period fonts from the turn of the century, and I graphically lay out each painting in Photoshop. I add artistic license to change seasons and move mountains for that perfect composition. I also collage multiple photos together to capture the essence of a place and remember a location the way that our memories do, in 360 degrees. I've been working hard to capture Colorado, from our ski resorts to our universities, our towns and our cities, to the gardens and parks. I love to incorporate our architecture and historical buildings where I can, because it better tells the story of a place. Our 14,000-foot peaks may be my favorite to paint. I've climbed 10 of our 52 peaks, and I hope to keep climbing them for the rest of my life. To see more of my artwork, in all the sizes and options, of which there are many, please go to thebungalowcraft.com, where you can see offerings for all of my paintings and frames. I love creating custom paintings based on your personal memories and photos too, so reach out if you have that perfect painting in mind, from house portraits to favorite vacation spots. Thanks for stopping in, and may our paths cross again in the near future.